Everywhere in rural Africa, one of the daily tasks of women is to prepare the local flatbread. The bread usually consists of flour, water, and sometimes a little salt. The women measure the amount of flour and water by eye. Every woman knows if the dough is too runny, she will make a mess instead of bread. So she stops adding water and increases the amount of flour. If it's runny, skip the water. It's that easy. If it's runny, skip the water. This simple rule costs the lives of more than 2,000 children every single day. And here's why. African countries lead the world in teen pregnancies, and those young mothers often had no or very limited access to education. Now imagine that a teenage mother's child has diarrhea for the first time. If she has no formal education or experience, she will use her everyday logic to deal with this problem. Remember, if it's runny, skip the water. So, she will stop giving her child any more fluids. And you know what will happen. The child will dehydrate and possibly die. Diarrhea is in fact the second leading cause of death among children under the age of 5. That's more than die from AIDS, malaria and measles combined. And research clearly shows the link between mothers' level of education and how they deal with such health problems. I use this example to illustrate the impact of the lack of access to education for women. To give you a figure that illustrates the scale of this problem, almost 500 million women worldwide are illiterate. However, the impact goes far beyond issues of childcare and health. It affects every single area of women's lives, limiting their social, economic, legal, political, and psychological development opportunities. Education is the key to women's empowerment and ultimately to gender equality. And gender equality is not only a fundamental human right, but a necessary foundation for a peaceful, prosperous, and sustainable world. So, what can we do? Should we wait for every girl to get the chance of education? Well, good luck with that. Although the percentage of illiteracy has steadily fallen, the total number of illiterate adults in the world has remained the same over the last 50 years. Going by the present pace of development, India, for example, will take at least another 65 years to achieve female youth literacy. We simply don't have that much time. So 7 years ago, I asked myself if there was no other way to make vital knowledge accessible to marginalized women. Well, it turns out there is. And it is surprisingly simple and effective. Because, well, even if you can't read, you can still listen. In fact, most non-literate adults live in oral cultures where knowledge is transmitted in the same way it has been shared for centuries using oral strategies. Enter digital audio. With the development of the MP3 format more than 30 years ago, digital audio files became very portable and popular. We take it for granted today, but when it comes to making knowledge accessible in remote areas, digital audio is nothing short of revolutionary. Here's why. First of all, it's simple to create content. You can make a decent digital recording on any mobile phone. Secondly, you can make digital audio easily available literally everywhere. You can use solar-powered audio players, loudspeakers, basic phones, smartphones, you name it. And then there's WhatsApp, which makes distributing audio a breeze. In India alone, the country with the highest number of illiterates, 390 million people use WhatsApp. I think you can see the potential. This is a unique opportunity to make knowledge accessible to marginalized populations. We just have to make it work. Now, here's the thing. Millions of civil society organizations around the world are already working on this. They just don't use digital tools. Many of them are small but very committed community-based organizations. Community outreach is a constant struggle with poor infrastructure and limited funding for them. They visit remote villages from time to time, do educational work and then leave again. And the knowledge usually disappears with them. Remember, most people in the villages cannot read or write, so they cannot take notes or read a brochure. Now, what if we could provide these organizations with free resources to help them build a scalable and resilient community outreach using digital audio? The impact could be huge. We could reach many more women much more often. and the knowledge would stay with them in digital form. They would have access to it whenever they want. Our NGO URIDU has been working for the last 6 years to lay the foundations for this. We have created Audiopedia, an open content project that enables organizations to start digital outreach in 60 seconds. We have built web apps to make audio content accessible to women with limited digital skills. And we have tried and tested this approach in 12 countries under diverse conditions and with different local organizations. Now we know what works and what doesn't. The time has come to take the next step. We have launched the Open Source for Equality initiative to make all our content and tools freely available. And we have built a platform around it that connects local development organizations with local software developers. The aim is to create solutions that are tailored to local needs. Remember the teenage mother I mentioned at the beginning? Well, the digital gender gap in sub-Saharan Africa is at 37%, so let's assume that she doesn't have access to a smartphone. But some woman in her village does. This woman regularly receives audible content from a local community-based organization via WhatsApp. Once a week, all the women of the neighborhood meet to listen to the latest lessons together. They discuss what they have learned and share their experiences. Now they understand how to deal with diarrhea and many other health problems. And they will learn so much more. And no one will be able to take this knowledge away from them ever again. And that is the point at which change has become unstoppable. Thanks for watching.